Hello everyone. Welcome to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will continue with the exercise questions on problem solving and analysis. Now, we have discussed that there are total four types of questions that can be formed from problem solving and analysis. Let us quickly recap. So, type 1 was called logical reasoning, correct? This we have already studied in detail. In logical reasoning, we studied that there are five types of problems that can be formed. First was statements and assumptions, conclusion, and inference also comes. Then we studied syllogisms, in which we use Venn diagrams to solve questions. Then it was analogies. Analogies, we have a complete chapter on it. We have done it already. Then coding, decoding, again, very common topic, discussed numerous times. And then a new topic called blood relations. This also we looked in detail. Correct? Then we discussed that there is type 2. Type 2 is what? Mathematical operations and quantitative reasoning. In this, we studied two types. Number one was number series. Number series, again, we have discussed multiple times. And then it was mathematical operations. This we studied in details. So, this is already done. Now, we will study the other two types today. So, type number 3. Type number 3 is called analytical puzzles. Okay, so type 3 is analytical puzzles. In this, we will do two types of questions. The first will be seating arrangement, and the second type is logical grids. This I have already explained to you in types of questions, but today we will solve some questions, some exercise questions to understand this in detail. Then we will also do type 4 today, which is non-verbal reasoning. Non-verbal reasoning, we will do two types of questions. First is series completion. We have already discussed this, and image rotation. So, we will discuss these two types today, type 3 and type 4 in detail. Okay, so let us start with type 3, subtype 1, that is seating arrangements. So, in seating arrangements, I've already told you that four types can be formed. The first type is circular seating arrangement. That means everybody is sitting in a circle or a circular table. They can be facing inwards, they can be facing outwards as well. Correct? Then there is linear seating arrangement. Linear seating arrangement means that everybody is sitting in a line, they can be facing north or south. Okay? Then rectangle or square or triangle. That means everybody is sitting in a rectangle like this or square. They can be facing inwards, they can be facing outwards, they can be sitting in the corner, or they can be sitting at the edge. This is possible in all three cases, rectangle, square, and triangle. Then I also told you that there is the fourth kind, that is parallel rows. Don't worry, we will have separate chapters for this as well to discuss everything. So parallel rows means that there are two rows of people that are sitting. They can be facing each other, or they can be facing same direction, or they can be facing opposite directions as well. So three cases are possible in parallel rows. So these are the types of questions that can come in your seating arrangement. So today we are given a question. Let us solve this. Now, 6 friends are sitting around a circular table. So circular table, 6 friends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We assume that they are sitting equidistant. If it is not mentioned, if it is mentioned very specifically that they are not sitting at equidistant, only then we assume that they are sitting in a different manner. Otherwise, in each seating arrangement question, we assume that they are sitting equidistant from each other. Now, each of them is facing the center of the table. So, each of them is facing the center. So, this is the direction. P is second to the right of S. So, let's say if S is here, S's right will be in this which direction? This direction. This will be the direction of right. Assume that you are in the position of S and you are sitting at a table facing inwards. Then towards your right will mean this direction, correct? So P is sitting to the P is second to the right of S. So 1, then 2, second to the right of S. So P will be in this position. Then Q is sitting to the immediate left of T. Let us leave this for a moment. Let us look at the next statement. P is sitting between R and U. So two possibilities. R can be here or U can be here. Similarly, R can be here or U can be here. Because P is sitting between R and U, which position is not given to us. Now, S is sitting to the immediate left of R. So if R sits here, S will be immediate left, correct? So U will sit over here. Now, then Q is sitting, we'll come back to this statement. Q is sitting to the immediate left of T. So if T sits over here, Q will sit to the immediate left. Left of T will be over here. So this is the final positioning. Now we have to find out who is sitting between P and S. So between P and S, you can see that R is sitting. So option number 4, R will be the correct answer. Okay. Here you can see that R is sitting between P and S. Now, another question. This time, 8 friends are sitting anti-clockwise in the same sequence around a circular table. So, anti-clockwise is which direction? I've already discussed this in following directions. Anti-clockwise means this direction, the opposite hand of how a clock moves. So, 8 friends, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They are sitting at anti-clockwise direction. So, if A is sitting here, B will be here, 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 and here. Anti-clockwise. Equal distance from each other. This is given in the question. Now, all are facing the center of the table. So, everybody is facing inwards. Now, if G is sitting in the southeast. Now, let me change these. Southeast is which direction? If you remember a chart in following directions, let me draw it again. This was north, this was south, this was east, and this was west. Correct? This direction was southeast. So, if assume this is north, this is south, this is west, this is east, then this direction will be southeast, this will be southwest, this will be northwest, and this will be northeast. So, southeast, G is sitting over here. Anti-clockwise we have to sit, so F, then E, D, C, B, A, and here will be H. So G is sitting southeast, okay, and they are facing inwards, and anti-clockwise they are sitting. So up till here we have satisfied all the conditions. Now we have to find out which direction is A sitting. So A is sitting over here. The direction is clearly this. This direction is called what? Northeast. So the correct answer to this question will be option number 3, northeast. Clear? This is how you solve questions on seating arrangement. What are the things that you have to remember? First, which direction they are facing, whether they are facing inwards or whether they are facing outwards, whether they are sitting in the same sequence, like it was mentioned over here that they are sitting anti-clockwise in the same sequence or not. This you have to keep in mind as well. Then other thing is left and right. For example, I've told you this already. If a person is facing inwards, let's say A, the right will be in this direction and the left will be in this direction. But if say A is facing outwards, okay, then this will be the right direction and this will be the left direction. So this we have already discussed when we were discussing the types of questions. So all this information you have to keep in mind while solving the questions on seating arrangement. Now, let us move on. This is the answer. A is sitting to the northeast direction. To the next subtype of type 3, that is logical grids. So in logical grids, I told you that certain numbers are given to us. This is a 3-row logical grid. It could be a 4-1 also. So let's say if you have something like this in logical grid, Now, the first way to solve a logical grid is that certain operations are being done on the first and two. Let us say multiply and you get the third number, or addition and you get the third number, or so on. So, certain mathematical operations are being done on 1 and 2 to get the third number. Then it could be like this also. So, if we consider this the third row and this is the first number and the second number, certain operations are being done on the first and the second number to get the third number. So either which way you can get a question on logical grid. Okay, now let us look at this question. Over here, just by looking at the question, I can see that this is the bigger number. If I look, this is a small number, and then a bigger number. Small, small, big. So maybe certain operations are being done on these two numbers to get this number. Let us see if we can find our logic. Now, if I multiply them, if I multiply 14 into 4, I'll get how much? I'll get 56. Correct? And if I divide 56 by 2, I'll get 28. So, 14 into 4 divide by 2 gave me 28. Now, let us see whether this same logic follows in row 2 as well. So, in row 2, if I multiply 21 by 6, I'll get 126. And if I divide 126 by 2, I'll get 63. So 21 into 6 divided by 2 will give me 63. So now we have found a logic in row 1 and we confirmed the logic in row 2. So now we'll use the same logic in row 3 as well. So row 3 will be 45 into 8 divided by 2 should give me the answer. So 45 into 8 will give me how much? This will be 4. 360. And if I divide 360 by 2, I'll get 180. So 180 will be the answer which is given in option number 2. So option number 2 will be your correct answer to this question on logical grid. So now did you understand what we did in logical grids? In logical grids, we are given 3 rows. Or you can also get 4 rows. So in both the cases, let's say we got 4 rows. Something like this. So this is a grid. This is a 3 into 3 grid. Or you could get a 4 into 4 grid. Or you can also get a 2 into 2 grid. Any of the grids can be given to you in exam. A 4 into 3 grid can also be given. But this is very common. 3 into 3 and 4 into 4, these are common grids that you get mostly in all the exams. Now, various mathematical operations will be followed. In this particular question, we got multiplication plus what? Division. So this logic was followed. These were the mathematical operations that were followed in this type. Now, one way can be that certain operations are done on these 2 rows to get the third column. Or certain operations are done on these 2 rows to get the third row. Or a common operation could be done on all the 3 columns to get a common answer in all the rows. Okay, so this type of question let us discuss over here. This is the solution if you want to look. So 14 into 4 divided by 2, 21 into 6 divided by 2 and 45 into 8 divided by 2. So this gave us 360, then we divided by 2 which gave us 180. Now question number 2. This pattern is given to us. This is again a 3 into 3 type of grid. Okay. So now here I cannot see a big number. Let's see. 12, 30, 28, 9, 12 when we have to find out the missing element, and 13, 40, 17. Neither this row is big, neither this row is big. All the numbers are comparable. All the numbers are equal to each other almost. Like 30, 40, 12. Not much of a difference. So maybe we are doing something to get a same output in each rows. Let me check. This is row 1, row 2 and row 3. Okay. So let me check for row 1. In row 1, if I add this 12 and 30 and 28, the answer I'll get will be what? 12, 30 and 28. So this will give me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 70. I'll get 70. Correct? Now let me check for row 3. If I add all these 3, what will I get? So if I add 13, 40 and 17, this will be 10, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 70. Again, I'll got 70. So here I can see that all the numbers are added together to get a same output. So the output in row 2 will also be same, that is 70, right? So now let us solve. So 9 plus 12 will be 21. So 9 plus 12, let's say this is question mark, right, is 70. So question mark will be, this is 9 plus 12 will be 21, will be 70. So question mark will be 70 minus 21 and this is equal to 49. So the correct answer will be 49. So if I add 9 plus 12 plus 49, this will be 18, 19, 20, 2, 4, 1, 5, 4 plus 1, 5, 6 and 7, 70. So this has confirmed that the output will be same 70 if 49 is the number that is in this missing element. So option number 1, 49 will be the correct answer to this logical grid question. Clear? This is how you solve questions on logical grids. So this was type 3. Then we have this, you can see this is the solution. Then we have type 4. Type 4, first is series completion. So in series completion, I told you that certain figures are given to us. First, second, third, fourth and fifth. In each figure, something is happening. Some logic is being followed to get to the next figure. And once we identify that logic, we have to find this missing figure as well. So this is what you use. This is how you solve questions on series completion. Now, if I look at this particular figure, I can see there was one arrow. Then we added another arrow. Okay. Then we added another arrow. Then we added another arrow. So what I'm doing is plus one arrow, plus one arrow, plus one arrow. And how I am doing it? First, I added the arrow like this. Then the next arrow was added like this. Then the next arrow was added like this. So clearly, the next arrow will be added in this position. So the figure that we already have, like this arrow was added, right? So the figure that we already had looks like this. Now we will have to add this arrow. So this arrow will be added over here. So the missing figure will look something like this. And this is given in option number 2. So option number 2 will be your correct answer. Clear? Now, option number 1. Here you can see this was facing downwards. I missed it. Here everyone is facing upwards. All the arrows are facing upwards. And these two are facing outwards. So option number 1 will be your correct answer. This you have to keep in mind. So just like I missed this arrow, you could also miss this arrow in your exam. So in exam, you would get a -1 or minus 1/4 of the number. This is the marking scheme in most exams. So what do we have to do is, we have to keep in mind the direction of the arrow as well. So the direction is that everybody is facing upwards, every arrow, and these two arrows are facing outwards. So option number 1 will be the correct answer. Okay. Now, question number 2. Again, a question on series completion. We have to find out which figure will come over here. This is 1, 2, and 3. And we have to find the missing figure. Over here, let us look at the arrow. So arrow is facing outwards. Then it is facing here. Then outwards again. Like it is, if I draw it like this, it is facing like this, then this, then this. So naturally, the arrow will face like this again. So like this, we got an option number 2 and 3. So we eliminate option number 1 and 4. Which approach we are following? We are following the elimination approach. This we have already discussed. Elimination approach. Correct? So 1 and 4 we have eliminated. Now let us look at this symbol. So this is in the front of the arrow. Correct? The circle is in the front of the arrow. Over here, the circle is in the back of the arrow. So next, we will get the circle in the front of the arrow. Here. So then in the next figure, first, let me draw it like this. This will be like this. The next figure, the circle will be at the back of the arrow. So circle will be over here. So option number 3 is eliminated. So our answer will be option number 2. Now let us check for the stars as well. Now if you look at the stars, in over here they are in the first two quadrants. That is quadrant 1 and 2. Or they are facing towards the arrow. They are in the quadrants where the arrow is facing. Over here they are in the quadrants of the opposite direction of the arrow. Over here again they are in the quadrants facing the arrow. So now they will be in the quadrants facing opposite from the arrow. So our image will look certainly like this, which is given in option number 2. So option number 2 will be the correct answer. Clear? This is how you solve questions on series completion. Image rotation. Type 4, 4.2. Image rotations. Image rotation basically deals by rotation. Rotation means 45 degree, 90 degree angle rotation, or 135 degree angle rotation, 270 degree angle rotation, 180 degree angle rotation, so on and so forth. So this is what we do in image rotations. Now if you look at this question, over here, if you look at the arrow is facing this direction. This rotated by how much? 90 degree. Again, from here, it went here. So this, now, another way to look at it. If you remember the directions, this is north, this is south, west and east. This arrow is in the northwest. Then it is in the northeast. Correct? Northwest and northeast. Then it is in the south. So this is moving how? This is moving in the clockwise direction. These concepts we discussed when we were discussing the types of questions, and also in following directions. This is moving in clockwise direction, right? South. Then over here, this is in west. Again, clockwise direction. Then it went again in northeast. Okay. So from northeast, the clockwise direction will be, this is too far. This is going back. And from northeast, the clockwise direction can be 4 or 1. Now if we see how the arrow is moving. Now over here, the arrow moved by 2 quadrants. 1 and 2. Quadrants, or you can say part of quadrants. Over here, the arrow moved by 1, 2, 3 positions. Over here, the arrow moved by again 1, 2 position. And over here, the arrow moved again by 1, 2, 3 position. So now the arrow will move by 1 and 2 positions. So the arrow will face like this because it is moving 1 and 2 positions, which is option number 4. So option number 4 will be your correct answer. Okay. Question number 2, image rotation. Select the figure that will come next. Now, let us look at this figure. So over here, this figure is divided into 4 parts. Something like this. And it is divided into 4 parts. Like this. Now, first image, this was shaded. Second image, this was shaded. Third image, this is shaded. So definitely in the fourth image, this will be shaded. So over here, we'll get, this will be shaded. Now, let us look at the circle. The circle is over here. It moved this corner. From here to it moved this corner. Right? So if this is it was here, it moved here, this corner, then it moved here. So naturally here it will move to this corner, towards this side. So if this is the image, the circle will be over here. Correct? This eliminates option number 2. Now if you look at the lines, so here we had 1 line, 2 line, 3 line. So now we'll have 4 lines. So both these options have 4 lines. Option number 1 and 3 have 4 lines. So now the position of triangle. This is facing outwards. This is facing outwards. This is facing outwards. So naturally, the triangle will face outwards over here. So if the triangle face outwards, this part will be shaded. So this is given in option number 3. So option number 3 will be your correct answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 elements were given to us. Based on these 4 elements, we identified the position of this element, this element, this element, and this element as well. So option number 3 will be your correct answer. So this concludes today's lecture. We have covered all the 4 types of questions that can be formed in problem solving and analysis, and we have solved the exercise questions. In the next lectures, we will discuss the previous year questions. This concludes the lecture. Thank you.